Hello, everyone. Today we have Tomasz Ptak with us over here. So, Thomas, welcome to the channel and welcome to AWS Heroes in Conversation.
Hello, Namrata. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How about things going in UK?
Cold. It's getting warmer now, but yeah, it's better than it was. So,
Perfect. So, Thomas, welcome again. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
hi, as Namrata said, I'm Tomasz. I'm a software developer on a company called Duco. We deal with data reconciliation
Okay.
and data automation. Apart from that, I'm also a machine learning hero at AWS, and I specifically am interested in DeepRacer.
Okay, nice. So, Thomas, what is depressor? I mean, can you, provide some overview or tell us in a few words so that our audience knows what depressor is all about?
Mm-hmm. So depressor is pretty much this. So there's a car.
Okay.
You can actually take off the shell. So there's just, an RC car with a computer on top of it that has a camera. And long story short, you put it on a track. It takes regular pictures and uses inference to decide how to behave based on a model that you've trained, and tries to get around the track, and you try to get it to go around the track as fast as possible.
Okay, that's nice. So, typically, like, what can it be used for? Like something like this, what would you use for?
So there's a number of uses for it. You can use it, well, first of all, and probably primarily you can use it for entertainment, because it's pretty fun to try to get a car to go around the track without you steering it.
Okay. Yes.
Another use for it is pretty much educational, because to get it going, you need to learn a little bit about reinforcement learning. So there are trainings that explain how you can prepare a piece of code, a minimal piece of code that you can put into a training algorithm, so that after a few minutes or hours of training in a simulator, you get something that potentially can get a car around the track. And then it's a great networking tool. And also there is a league, DeepRacer League, so you can use it for competitions. If you like some rivalry with your friends, you can either organize your own or take part in a public league, which ends up with championships that are taking place in Las Vegas at the end of the year.
Oh, nice. At the end of the year. So typically, I mean, what is your story been with depressor? How did you get into this?
By accident. In general, my company, my employer at the time, has sent me to reInvent conference in 2018, when they were evaluating options to adopt cloud as a strategy at the company. I was supposed to learn as much as possible, get some ideas, but also this was the year when DeepRacer was announced by AWS. And I came back from reInvent with one of the cars, and
Nice.
then I learned how to train it and joined the league that was started in 2019. The league, well, I finished third in during the London Summit, which was really nice. And the probably the even better part thing that happened over there was that Lyndon Leggett, who's also a machine learning hero now.
Yes.
Lyndon has suggested that we just get together, people who race in London, and keep chatting about depressor, because it's fun and it's cool. And we did that. We created a Slack channel, a Slack space to talk about it, but it quickly escalated from being 10 guys from London to being 100 people from Europe and Asia, then to being 1,000 people from around the world, racing, learning how to race, learning how to troubleshoot things, how to get faster and better, and then pretty much creating the depressor community.
Sure. So if somebody wants to join the league, how can they do that? Like, can you tell us a little bit more about this league? Is it only in London? Are these leagues global, worldwide? Do you have different leagues across different countries? How does it work?
So 2023 will be 5th year, if I'm correct, of racing
Okay.
for DeepRacer. We don't yet know exactly what the format will be for this year, as it usually gets announced at the beginning of the league itself. In previous years, depending on circumstances, there were 2 types of racing. One of them was virtual. So there were races available in DeepRacer console. Pretty much to train DeepRacer, what you need to do is to go to your AWS console, go into AWS DeepRacer, which is a service over there. And then there is a very intuitive interface that lets you go and start training a car, giving you defaults that will let you complete a lap after an hour. Maybe not the fastest one, but it will work with a minimal effort. That's the great thing about it.
Okay.
And then once you have such a model, the other thing that's happening in the DeepRacer service in the console is that you get races listed over there. So you can submit your model into a race.
Okay.
It gets evaluated. Time is being calculated in a simulation for you. And depending on this time, you get either a good place or a place that you can improve from. So then it's you can decide what to do next. You can either analyze what the training was like, what was working, what was not. You can think about different strategies for training and stuff like that. And then train again, get a new model, submit it, try again, submit it a couple times. Maybe it's not deterministic, so maybe it will go faster the next time. Just give it a go more times. So you've got all those options over there. So this is the virtual racing.
Okay.
Then there's physical racing. What AWS do is they during the conferences around the world, such as AWS Summit, quite often you will find a track over there. So what you can do is either take part in workshops over there and train a model during the workshop,
Sure.
or pre-train your models and bring them over with you. And the pit crew will just load the model onto a car that is available over there. You don't need to have your own car.
Okay.
And they will put it on a track and you will see how fast it can go. And if it goes well, you can get a trophy, you can get a jacket, you can get some nice gadgets and stuff like that. But also for both virtual and physical, if you do well, you qualify into the championships. And championships are taking place in Las Vegas during reInvent. So in 2023, we had this gorgeous track in the middle of Expo, where there was live commentary and people were racing and trying to get the best times. And the winners, I believe the winner got away with, I think, $10,000, something like this.
Wow,
so
that's a lot of money.
There is a serious amount of money involved when you do really well. It's hard to get that good. But then even if you qualify into the championships, it's already pretty awesome because you get flown to Vegas, you get a hotel, you get access to the conference. So all the learning, networking that you can do, it's all happening over there. And
plus it's fun.
And it's fun. And you get to know everyone from the community, which is even better. So
this is exciting, Tomaszs. So now I think even our audience would like to know, how can we get started with something like this? Like it's fun, there's money, you can play, but you can play with it, you can go over there, you can meet people. So how can one get started with this, and how can one basically get started with, let's say, training the model, quote unquote? Like, is there like a starting point, something that you would, some suggestions that you can share with our audience?
So the nice thing about getting started with depressor is if you want to try, then your AWS account already has 10 hours of free racing in it.
Okay.
So it's literally go into the AWS console, go to depressor, and you can either go over getting started section first to just get more of a feel about it, or you go into models, which has like there is a function button there to create a model, and literally the first model you want to train, the only thing that you need to create yourself is the name. Other than that, you've got defaults for everything, and you can click through it without much thinking about it and then get the feel of it and try that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you get started. And I mean, one thing is that you personally get started with something, but if you want to get this to your organization, or let's say you want to kind of get serious about machine learning, deep racing, let's put it that way. Are there any alternatives or places or companies that you found where people can go? I mean, are there enough opportunities in the market in this space? I mean, it's definitely fun, but is there like an opportunity to build a career out of it?
I think the nice thing about it, the nice enabling part of it is that it can get you curious and show that machine learning doesn't bite. But what AWS have created, which is a pretty clever thing, is if you work with AWS, you can reach out to your account manager and say that you would like to try something like this. And for instance, my company did that. And last September, we had an AWS team come over to our office, set up a track,
Nice.
bring the cars and everything. And then we just followed a workshop to train models for the first time. And everyone could go and try racing. So in our case, the first person was a software developer.
Okay.
But then soon after, the second person was Ingrid from the marketing, and the third one was Johnson from support. So it's everyone can try. It's not just for technical people. In our case, we did individual attempts, but many organizations try and do team racing as part of it. And some of them actually create quite a successful training program out of it. Because sure, it's a car, it's a toy, and you try to do something that's not exactly serious with it. But companies such as JPMC have created a whole training program around it, which means that first you need to work out how to train your model. Then you need to complete a lab. Then you need to try to improve it. So you need to learn how to analyze the logs and get more familiar with Python and other tools that you can use for this.
Okay.
But then they say, actually, stop using, or first, stop using too much of the services, just to make sure that you don't spend too much. So you learn about billing in the cloud. Then think about how to prevent yourself from spending too much. So you learn about alerts and other tools that are provided, and then how to optimize the cost. So one of the things that probably communities thrived the most about was the fact that, well, it can get quite pricey.
Yes.
And we do have a offline training solution. So there is a project that Amazon, Amazon offered the console where you can train, but also they expose tools that you can use with SageMaker to train independently. And we use that to create a stack that you can deploy either locally on your computer, or you can use EC2 spot instances. And that's what JPZ have done. They say, actually, set up your own setup using EC2, using spot instances. Try to get optimized costing model for your service. And once you do all of this, you get a nice, I think it's called bronze driving license or something like this. So you get a certificate that you've completed a training in DeepRacer. And a complete side effect of it is that you've just learned how to set up your own cloud account, how to set up your EC2 instances, how to work with Docker, how to work with Linux, how to do spot instances, how to monitor your costs. So you pretty much come out of it, after a lot of fun, you come out of it as a trained user in the cloud.
So there's a lot of effort that goes in. It's not just fun and play. So that's really, really very good. Now, thanks for sharing this information. I think it's really good for our audience. I would encourage people who are watching this video to look out for DeepRacer leagues around you. As Tomasz said, I mean, he definitely has one in UK, but I'm sure that there are leagues around the globe, deep racing leagues around the globe, right, that our audience can identify and then join those leagues. So Tomasz, thank you so much for coming to our channel. I hope you have a wonderful day, and then I'll see you later some other time. Take care.
Thanks, Namrata. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.